Hi, my name is Hannah Day. I am in History 481 in the spring of 2019, and this video will explain a teaching resource, teachinghistory.org. Teachinghistory.org is a tool for teachers to be able to find teaching material, historical content, and learn best practices. Today I will be discussing the quick links for middle school teachers and also best practices. On the home page, as we can see here, we have many quick links. One link that I will be explaining today is the middle school instruction link. So right here. First-time viewers can watch an instructional video. The video explains the resources available in the history content for middle schools and how to search through the history content. Also up at the top, there is a page with it is either a featured lesson plan, history content, or best practice. Today, it is a best practice, and it is teaching with the textbook. When we visit the link, we can see a brief description of the best practice, learn about the author of this specific practice, and have access to the method. This one is about teaching with the textbook. It gives a brief description on why we need it, what it is, and an example of how this teacher used it in his classroom, and examples of how we could also. We could even take these examples and put them into a lesson plan. And then at the bottom of this one, it explains why it is a best practice, and then the resources that this author used to create this brief, the lesson excerpts or the research behind why it's a best practice. And I think that that's very important so that there's research-based evidence of why we want to practice this. So now, going back to the middle school link, we can see down here, these are always changing. Every time you come to this page, it's different links that go through it, but it is for grades 6th through 8th, and it's divided into pre-1865 and post-1865. And they will direct viewers to other resources, and that includes teaching materials, history content, and best practices. It can also lead them to blogs, website reviews, and question and answers from teachers. So we could come here and we can see that this link is a website review of the Rivers, Edens, Empires, Lewis and Clark Revealing of America. And so this just is a brief thing, a quick link for teachers to be able to use. Let's try another one. So post 1865. So this is a best practice and using primary sources. And so we can see that this is an online interactive experience in the Thomas Jefferson Building. And so they just have a brief description of the website and if it's good or not. But they usually only put good websites on this site. So the other tab that I wanted to talk about was one of the three main sources of it. And so I wanted to go to the best practices. In the best practices, we have just key articles that they have on display up at the top and their spotlights. And then down on the bottom of this page, we have examples of historical thinking, teaching in action, using primary sources, and teaching with the textbook. And so these are great for teachers who are trying to learn how to incorporate these specific strategies in our classroom. For example, when we go to this election, it is a video of Donald A. Ritchie, and it explains some of his background and why he is credible. And then it has the video or also the transcript of the video. And in the video, he explains how he used the election of 1932, this cartoon by Clifford Berryman, in his lesson, and how we can use this lesson as an example of historical thinking. And then, so most of these ones are for our videos, and then when we have teaching with textbook, it has ways that we can use this in our classroom. So it explains what the practice is, the example of how to use it, and then, and then why it's a best practice. And so overall, this is a great resource for specifically for teachers. It gives them resources, outside resources that they can go find more content information, and then also in the best practices, how to teach and why it's important to teach that way.